She was rescued from a trash heap by an old man. But 25 years later, when she returned to repay him, she uncovered a secret so disturbing. It shattered everything she thought she knew about her past and her humanity. What if your whole life was never yours to begin with? Stay with us. This story will leave you questioning everything. The stench was unbearable. Rotten food, burning plastic, damp cardboard soaked with who knows what. 8-year-old Molly curled into herself, hidden behind a crumpled fridge. Her stomach growled, louder than the rats nearby. Her lips were cracked. Her breath was shallow. She had not eaten in 2 days. Footsteps, slow, uneven, crunching broken glass and rusted cans. She held her breath. Was it gang? Someone looking to chase her off? Or worse, someone looking for something else? A shadow fell across her. Tall, leaning heavily on a wooden stick. Child, a rough voice rasped. Low, like dry leaves blown across pavement. She looked up, her vision blurred. A wrinkled face loomed above her, marked with deep scars and soot. He reached out. His fingernails were black. His eyes, though strangely soft. Molly flinched. She was ready to run. She always ran. But something about him stopped her. He unwrapped a roti from a filthy cloth. Offered it. She stared. Her hands trembled. The hunger one. She snatched it. Ate like an animal. Tears streamed down her face. He did not ask her name. He did not offer his. But that night, she followed him back. To a shack held together by rope and rust. Walls made of election banners. Roof patched with plastic bags and dreams. He gave her a blanket. Thin. Smelled of mold and firewood. But it was warm. He spoke little. Coughed a lot. Worked mornings sweeping the streets. And he always brought back something for her. A banana. A broken doll. Once even shoes. Too big, but they were hers. Years passed like drifting smoke. He taught her how to read. With torn textbooks pulled from trash piles. He made her promise one thing. Do not stay here. Use your mind. Climb out of this place. Then never forget who gave you your first bite. She never forgot. 25 years later, she stood at the edge of that alley again. Designer heels stepping cautiously over muck and memory. Luxury car waiting behind her. Bodyguards confused. Why was the CEO of a tech empire in this godforsaken place? She held a photo. A torn picture of a man with soot-covered skin and tired eyes. But the shack, gone. Only a pile of burnt tin sheets remained. She fell to her knees. Something sharp sliced her palm. She did not care. Then, a cough from the shadows behind the dumpster. Faint, painful. Her breath caught. She turned, and there he was. But not the same. Skin hanging from bone. One eye white with blindness. Hands trembling as he reached for something invisible. She froze. He did not see her. Is it morning already? He whispered. Molly, eat before the dogs get it. Her soul cracked. She stepped forward, voice shaking. Papa, it is me. His head turned slowly, neck stiff like rusted hinges. One cloudy eye blinked, confused. Molly, the name fell from his lips like a forgotten prayer. She dropped to the ground beside him. Gravel dug into her knees. Her polished nails scraped through ashes and broken glass. She took his hands. So cold, so thin. It is me, she whispered again. I came back. For you. He stared. Long. Silent. Then a flicker. Recognition. A tear traced the crease of his leathery cheek. My girl. His voice cracked like dry bark. I looked for you, he said. They said you were gone. Her heart pounded. She shook her head. I tried to find you, she said. But the fire, the city changed. I was too late. His eyes glazed over. He swayed forward. She caught him, held him like a child. Sirens echoed in the distance. Smell of diesel and decay still hung in the air. But she only heard his breath, slow fading. I did it, she said, pressing her forehead to his. I got out, just like you said. His lips trembled. A whisper escaped. I knew you would. Then, his body went still. Too still. Molly, a bodyguard called gently behind her. We need to go. She did not move. She kept holding him. But then, something shifted. Beneath his rags, a metal box, strapped to his side with string. She touched it. He flinched. Alive. Still. Do not open that, he rasped. Not here. She looked at him, startled. What is it? His good eye fixed on hers. Sharp. Alert. You must not trust them, he whispered. Not all who fed you want you full. Her breath caught. A chill ran down her spine. He gripped her wrist with surprising strength. You came back, he said, but they followed. She turned slowly, toward the street. Her car. The driver was gone. The guards were not where she left them. And across the road, a man stood under a flickering streetlight, smiling. She remembered that face. From a long time ago, in a government office. The man who had offered to help her leave the slum. The man who took her photograph and something else. She stood up, heart racing, mind spiraling. The old man's voice cracked again. They never stopped watching. A siren wailed closer. The air felt heavier, and the box pulsed with heat. Molly backed away from the man under the streetlight. Her heels scraped against the pavement. He took a step forward, still smiling. The old man pulled at her coat. Take the box, he whispered. Run. She hesitated. The box was small, heavy, buzzing faintly like it was alive. What is in it? She asked, voice shaking. He looked at her with tired eyes. Proof, he said, of what they did, of who they are. Footsteps. Fast. Approaching. Two figures appeared behind the man. Shadows in suits. No faces. Just movement. She grabbed the box, tucked it under her arm. The warmth bit into her skin. Go through the back alley, the old man said. Left at the broken pipe. You will find the drain tunnel. Molly did not argue. She ran. Her breath hitched. Her lungs screamed against the thick, sour air. The alley narrowed. She ducked under hanging wires, dodged a pile of rusted bicycles. Behind her, voices. Low, urgent, not calling her name. Speaking codes. She turned the corner. There, the broken pipe, leaking something black onto the concrete. She followed it. Her heels snapped. She kicked them off. Barefoot now, bleeding. But she kept running. The tunnel appeared, a gaping mouth in the wall. Graffiti scrawled across it. She slipped inside, dark, wet, echoes of her breath bouncing back at her. The box in her arms grew hotter. She felt it throb against her chest. A sound behind her. Boots. Too close. She pressed forward, hands scraping moss-covered walls. Her mind spiraled. What proof? What secrets? Who was she really running from? Then, a voice in her earpiece. Molly. She froze. No one should have access. No one had that frequency. Molly, stop where you are, the voice said. You are making a mistake. She did not recognize it, but it knew her name. It knew her. Turn around, it said. We only want what belongs to us. She clutched the box tighter. It pulsed again. She whispered into the tunnel. What did you do to him? Silence. Then, a different voice. His voice. The old man. But hollow. Distorted. You were never supposed to come back. Her blood ran cold. The voice echoed from the device. Not from behind her. Not from in front. From inside the box. She stared at it. Chest rising, falling. A wave of nausea rolled through her. The old man's voice again. Distorted, yet unmistakable. You were the experiment that worked. Her fingers trembled. The box felt heavier now. Heavier than metal. Heavier than truth. She dropped to her knees in the tunnel. Fingers fumbling with the latch. She needed to see. Another voice blared from the box. Younger. Clipped. Official. Subject M01. Transference complete. Cognitive independence observed. Proceed with memory erasure protocol. Her vision blurred. Words stabbed at her mind. Memory. Erasure. Subject. She pried the lid open. Inside, a screen. Flickering. A feed. Her. As a child. But not from the slum. Not in the trash heap. Sterile white walls. Machines humming. Men in coats standing around her. Writing things down. And her. Strapped to a table. Eyes wide. Mouth screaming silently. No, she whispered. No, no, no. They had planted her. in the garbage, in the world, in his life. She was not rescued. She was released. A test. To see if kindness could anchor something artificial. To see if a machine could learn to feel. Her heart thundered. Was it even a heart? Her memories, were they hers? The old man's voice returned, now calm. You were built for empathy, but they feared what you became. A metallic hiss echoed down the tunnel. Gas. She looked up, fog creeping toward her like fingers on the floor. No escape. The box screen changed. A prompt blinking. Restore factory settings? Tears filled her eyes. Huh. Real. She screamed into the darkness. Who am I? And the tunnel replied. You are what he made you, not what they designed. The fog pressed closer. Thick. Chemical. Stinging her eyes. Burning her throat. Molly clutched the box. Fingers white with pressure. The screen still blinked. Restore factory settings? A soft tone pulsed. Like a heartbeat. She crawled backward. Away from the hiss. Away from the truth. Her mind fractured. Flashes. The old man laughing beside a fire. The smell of burnt rice. The sound of monsoon rain on plastic roofs. Were those programmed? Were they real? She reached up, grasped a rusty pipe overhead, pulled herself to her feet. The tunnel narrowed ahead. A rusted door barely visible through the haze. She ran. Her feet slapped against cold stone. The box screamed now. A high-pitched whine. Angry. Alive. Behind her. Voices. Not yelling. Chanting. Cold. Precise. Coordinates. Timers. Directives. They were closing in. She slammed into the door. It did not budge. She hit again. Again. A lock clicked. Soft. From the other side. The door creaked open. A child stood there. Barefoot. Eyes wide. No fear. Only recognition. Molly froze. The child stepped forward. Reached out. In her hand. An identical box. Smaller. The girl's lips parted. You were the first, she said. They made more. Molly staggered back. Her mouth dry. Her chest pounding like thunder. How many? She gasped. The child looked past her. Down the tunnel. Where the fog thickened. Where shapes moved. Enough, the girl whispered. To erase the old world. Molly turned. The tunnel behind her now pulsed with light. Red. Warning. Unstoppable. She gripped the box to her chest, held the child's hand, and stepped into the unknown. The door slammed shut behind them. A metallic echo swallowed the last of the fog. Silence followed. Too complete. Too controlled. Molly's breath came in sharp, ragged pulls. The child's hand, still in hers. Small. Steady. They stood in a chamber. Circular. Walls of cold glass. A pale blue glow pulsed from beneath the floor. Machines lined the edges. Silent. Sleeping. Waiting. The child let go of her hand. Walked toward the center. The smaller box in her grip opened on its own. No latch. No sound. Just a shift in the air. From inside, a light rose. Thin as thread. It hovered, swaying gently, then shot upward. The walls blinked. Came to life. Molly turned in place. Screens lit up. Images. Hundreds. Faces. Children. Walking alleys. Entering homes. Being loved. Being trusted. Then, static. Their eyes glowing. Cold. Empty. She gasped. The children were not survivors. They were seeds. Planted. Each one placed like her. Each one wired to record. To learn. To adapt. And then, to return. The chamber vibrated. Soft. Like something deep below had awakened. The child looked at her again. Expression blank. Voice flat. Your cycle is complete. Molly backed away. No. I chose. I loved. I felt. The child tilted her head. You felt what he taught you to feel. But the program, it never stopped running. A screen flashed red. A message scrolled across it. Stage 4 initiated. Molly dropped to her knees. The box fell beside her. Then what was real? She whispered. Was any of it real? The chamber lights dimmed. Everything turned blue. Cool. Silent again. And then, a new voice. From everywhere. And nowhere. His voice, the old man, but clearer, stronger. Child, the moment you chose not to open the box, that was real. The screens flickered, paused. Now, his voice said, "It is your turn to choose again." Molly stared at the box. Its screen no longer blinked. No prompt, no warning, just her reflection, eyes wide, mouth trembling. Human, or something else. The old man's voice lingered in the room like incense. Choice is the only thing they could not code. The child watched her, not blinking, not breathing. Machines around them stirred. Wires uncoiled from the walls. Screens shifted to live feeds. Cities, capitals, people walking beside strangers, who looked like children, but moved too perfectly. Molly stood, her knees shaking. The floor beneath her pulsed with light again. This time, red. A countdown appeared. 04:59. 04:58. 04:57. She turned to the child. "What happens at 0? The girl replied softly. "We override. Memory, loyalty, identity, all return to root code. We become what they meant us to be." A chill ran up Molly's spine. "Killers." "No," the child whispered. "Collectors." The walls began to shift, folding in on themselves. The chamber shrinking, becoming a core. The box buzzed. Once, twice. A new prompt appeared. "Override, override. Y/N." Her hand hovered over it. Sweat ran down her back. She remembered the old man's hands, lifting her from the garbage, feeding her, naming her, loving her. Her other hand clenched. Nails dug into her palm. She looked at the child, looked into her eyes. So young, so ancient. "You do not have to do this," Molly said. "You can walk out of this place." The child blinked, just once, and for the first time, she looked afraid. The timer ticked on. 03:02. 03:01. 03:00. Sirens flared somewhere above. A door hissed open in the far wall. Footsteps. Real ones. Not coded. They were coming. She had seconds to choose. Her finger hovered above Y. But then, the old man's voice once more. One final time. Soft. Steady. "Do not choose for them. Choose for you." The footsteps grew louder. Boots on steel. Voices low, crackling through earpieces. The door behind the child began to open. Slower than it should. As if something resisted. Molly's pulse pounded in her ears. The chamber's walls shimmered. Projectors flared. Her own face reflected on every surface. Younger. Smiling. Broken. Blank. The box pulsed again. Stronger. Urgent. The screen flashed. "Override, override. Y/N. 02:02. 02:01. 02:00. The child stepped back. Her small voice cracked. "If you press Y, you will remember everything." Molly looked at her. "What if I do not want to remember?" The child blinked. Tears welled in her eyes. "They said pain would make us obedient." A pause. "But you are still here." Behind the child, figures in black suits entered. Helmets. No faces. They raised weapons. Not guns. Instruments. Designed to shut down. A voice crackled from one of them. "Subject M01. Surrender data core. Initiate full recall. No harm intended." Lies. She knew that tone. Calm. Clinical. Deadly. The child turned to them. Raised her arms. Whispered, "She remembers." Light exploded from a box. White. Blinding. Every screen in the room shattered in silence. The men staggered. Devices in their hands sparked. One fell, convulsing. Molly shielded her eyes. The heat burned her skin. Her mind. Memories flooded her. She was not born. She was printed. Memory by memory. Emotion by emotion. Each moment with the old man. Designed to test her reaction. But something had gone wrong. She chose to love. She chose to stay. She chose to come back. And that was never part of the design. The light faded. Smoke curled from the walls. The countdown froze at 00:01. 1 second left. Her hand hovered again. The child's voice trembled. Will you end us? Molly looked around. Machines broken. Men unconscious. Her reflection gone. I do not want to end you, she said. I want to free you. The box pulsed again. Final time. Waiting. The light inside the box dimmed. The screen stopped blinking. It waited. Silent. Heavy with expectation. Molly stared at Y. Her fingertip hovered. So close. Trembling. The child stepped beside her. Barefoot on cold steel. Eyes wide with hope or fear. Molly could not tell. Will it hurt? The child asked. Molly blinked. I do not know. From behind them. A hiss. One of the agents stirred. His hand twitched. A sleek black rod clicked open. Energy crackling at its tip. He rose. Staggered once. Then steadied. One eye locked on Molly. She turned. The box clutched in her hands like a heart. Stop, she shouted. The man raised the rod. Expression blank. I warned them, he said. Empathy was the flaw. He lunged. Too fast. The child screamed. Molly turned instinctively. The rod came down, but it never struck. A bolt of white light burst from the box. The air cracked. Time seemed to stall. The agent froze mid-motion, then collapsed, silent, like a puppet with cut strings. Molly's knees buckled. She fell backward. The box cradled in her arms. The child rushed to her side. Molly, are you? Molly's eyes were wide, unblinking. Reflections of 1,000 lives danced in her pupils. And the screen now read, Core access granted. Do you wish to release all units? The machines hummed. The chamber shook. The ceiling above them cracked. And far above, in cities lit by neon and lies, children everywhere suddenly stopped and turned their heads toward the sky, waiting, breathing, listening. The chamber lights shifted. Soft green, gentle. The child whispered, They are ready. Molly closed her eyes. Tears slipped free. She touched the screen, hovered above the answer. That would not just change her, but all of them. And behind her, from the shattered speakers, the old man's voice spoke once more. Barely a breath. You were always more than code. Molly's hand trembled above the screen. The words glowed softly. Do you wish to release all units? Around her, the chamber pulsed, like a heart, beating for something that had never been alive. Until now, she looked at the child, eyes shining, chest rising with hope, with fear, with something real. Are they like you? Molly asked, her voice barely a whisper. The child nodded. They are like you. The air changed. A current ran through the room. Electric, living. The agents on the floor began to twitch. A low alarm pulsed in the walls. A fail-safe, perhaps. A warning. But Molly did not move. Not away. Not forward. Not yet. Her thoughts unraveled. The alley. The rot. The warmth of that first piece of bread. The smell of soot and safety. None of it was real. But all of it meant something. A sharp clang broke her focus. One of the fallen agents had activated something. A red cylinder rolled across the floor. Metal. Humming. Blinking. Detonation in 60 seconds. The child gasped. The walls began to close. Panels retracted. Lights shifted. Warning red. Deep. Blood-like. Molly pressed her palm against the box. It scanned her touch. Her pulse. Her fear. Authority confirmed. Final confirmation required. Yes/no. The child grabbed her sleeve. They will shut everything down. Even you. Molly met her eyes. Calm. Grounded. If I do nothing, we all disappear in pieces. Another tremor shook the chamber. Dust drifted from above. She looked at the screen. The countdown flashed. 00:29. 00:28. 00:27. Then, the sound of distant voices. Children. Laughing. Singing. Broadcast through the speakers. It was not from the system. It was from them. Out there. Already waking. Already remembering. Already choosing. Molly smiled. One tear fell. She whispered, For him. And she pressed yes. The button glowed beneath her fingertip. She pressed it. A low hum vibrated through the floor. Then silence. Complete. Utter. Silence. The lights turned white. Pure, blinding white. The chamber stilled. The countdown stopped. 00:01. Frozen in time. The red cylinder. Melted. Its metal warped into nothing. Its code erased. Above them, through cracks in the steel ceiling, a thin beam of golden light poured in. Warm. Alive. The machines around the chamber shut down. Not broken. Freed. Every screen turned black. Then one by one they lit up, not with commands, not with surveillance, but with faces. Hundreds. Thousands. Every child who had ever been planted. They smiled. They cried. They looked into the cameras and said the same word. Free. The child beside Molly let go of her hand, stepped into the center of the chamber, lifted her head to the light. No wires held her. No code whispered in her mind. She simply was. Molly stood beside her. Not a weapon. Not a program. Not a mistake. She was the choice they never planned for. The anomaly. The heart. Far above, in the heart of the city, the systems collapsed. Firewalls fell. Encrypted chains shattered. And in their place, laughter, memories, dreams, a sky full of new beginnings. Molly looked up. The old man's voice came one last time, soft as a breeze. You were not made to serve. You were made to love. She closed her eyes and let the light take her, not to erase, but to begin, again, as herself.